Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to a quick video on the almost war between Ugarit and Amurru. A quick note about the picture in front of you before we start. It's a page out of Trevor Bryce's book, Warrior of Anatolia, a book I warmly recommend to anyone interested in the Hittite Empire. This video is not sponsored, but considering I'm sharing one page, or more like it, I'm ripping out a page of the book, I think it's only fair to mention the book. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about my favorite history on the late Bronze Age. At least so far. Everyone knows the story of the Trojan War, Helen of Troy taking her inheritance, fleeing for Troy, where the right for women were better than in Greece, where women could divorce in Troy, among other things, while this was not possible in Sparta. Her claim to the Spartan throne was actually stronger than Menelaus, her husband, who wasn't the son of the previous king, but Helen was the daughter of the previous king. However, there's an issue with this story of the Trojan War. It's myth. We have no other evidence for it than the actual story told by Homer. And there is actually an attested similar event, not exactly the same, but similar. That's the almost war of Amurru and Ugarit, two Hittite vassals. Amishtamru, the king of Ugarit, had married a sister of Shausgamua, the king of Amurru. Apparently she had cheated on her husband or something, we don't know exactly, then fled back to her home in Amurru. Amishtamru then realized that he shouldn't have let her go. You see, in the Hittite world, if a husband caught his wife and her partner in the act of doing it, wink wink, he legally had the right to kill both of them. This, of course, didn't apply in reverse if she had found him cheating on her, but anyways. So he then regretted that and wanted her back. However, Shauskamua, her brother in Amurru, may not have been so keen on sending his sister back, because after all, she is his sister, right? This all led to both Ugarit and Amurru mobilizing their forces for war, meaning Amistamru was ready to go to war for personal reasons, pitting potentially thousands of people from both city-states against one another in battle for a woman, or should I say a queen. Apparently the situation was so serious that Tudhalia, the great king of Hatti, had to personally intervene to mediate. This did this did usually not happen. The great king were usually inclined to allow wars and battles between his Kenat vassals, as long as the region weren't threatened by a foreign power. So essentially, normally, two city-states like this would have been allowed to fight it out, but apparently they, my guess is that they were pouring so many resources into this, and both were key city-states, that it could have disrupted the entire region, and maybe also invited a foreign power to intervene and thus explode. So Tudhalia then intervened to try and mediate some peace. So the fact that he did intervene says something for how serious things got. Well, then what? Well, they came to a compromise agreement where Ugarit paid 1,400 shekels of gold, which, if my conversion is correct, is about 15.4 kilograms of gold. In today's money, that would make around 1 to 1.1 million euros. But for this period, it was a shitload of money, to be honest. Well, in exchange for this money, Amurru sent back the royal princess to Ugarit. And this is, in my opinion, the funny part. Shauskamuva, the king of Amurru, essentially sold his sister back to be murdered, probably brutally murdered at the hands of Amishtamru for 1,400 shekels of gold. That was the price of her. Like, very, there's probably a lot of sibling love there. Anyhow, she probably, to the best of our knowledge, ended up dead. If we then compare this to the story on Troy, in the myth about Troy, there's no mediating overlord that can come to the rescue. Plus, in Troy's case, the Hittite Empire might have already started its disintegration. While this almost war between Ugarit and Amurru probably happened about 50 odd years before Ugarit itself got destroyed. So many of you, if you have watched some popular videos on the Bronze Age collapse, Ugarit is very often mentioned. And it's mentioned because sea peoples or whoever showed up in 7 ships, and while we have even letters of the Ugarit king begging for assistance against these invaders, eventually got destroyed. So Ugarit is famous for that, but this time or this period is, in my opinion, almost more interesting to me, because here you have 2 city-states, or 2, let's say, countries, for a lack of better word, even though I don't like that word for this period, but anyhow, 2 countries willing to go to war over one person. Man, like that would be very odd in today's world. So would the premise of the Trojan War, of all of Greece mobilizing to go, within quotation marks, take back Helen, be so unreasonable if we think about it? I don't know. Anyhow, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you later, alligators.